Hello everybody, Otaku Soup here with Anime/Games, and today we're going to be playing Buried. As you can see, Buried is an interactive story. The plot will change based on the choices that I make. And we're going to do this by chapter, so each episode will be one chapter. And we'll go that way. So let's just jump right in. I don't know how diverse this gets, but I know it's a text-based like a decision kind of game, so we'll see what happens. I open my eyes and the first thing I want to do is scream. I'm flat on my back and everything seems to hurt. The trees overhead look familiar. It's a clear night sky, almost beautiful. Except for the fact that this means I've been out cold for at least 6 hours. But there's something wrong. I don't remember what, but something happened and my head. My God, my head hurts. And a ringing in my ears. Was there an accident? An explosion, I think? I remember Dennis screaming, but after that, I can't remember. As I sit up, I notice that my hard hat has been thrown off. I look around the area, but it's not here. It feels strange to go anywhere without my hard hat, but I've got to find the members of the crew. They could be in danger. Let's look for my hat. It's always good to have a hard hat. I get up on shaky legs and look around for a moment. A few nearby trees look to have been splintered and broken at the base recently. They certainly weren't like this earlier. Searching for the hard hat feels normal. It makes me feel like maybe there isn't something wrong here. I see it behind a fallen log about 10 feet away from me. How it was thrown so far is beyond me. Driven by nothing more than habit, I walk over to it, pick it up, and place it on my head. Next, I walk over to the center of the logging site and don't like what I see. Oh, jeez. What happened? The logging site looks like a bomb was detonated right in the center. I don't know where to start. The one load we had managed to stack on a truck for the day is overturned, and the trailer bent and the logs hanging off the back. Where the hell is everyone? My head is killing me, and this ringing in my ears. I can't hear anything. Not birds, not my footsteps, nothing. It makes me wonder if I hit my head after my hard hat flew off. I run through a quick mental checklist to make sure my brain is still working. My name is Roger Hastings. I am 41 years old. The year is 2017. I own a small logging company, and we've been logging in this strip of Kentucky woodland for almost a month now. Okay, so my brain works. That's a relief. But it also makes me fearful because something is certainly not right here. I look around the logging site, my mind trying to figure out what has happened. Just about every piece of equipment has been overturned or tilted. Okay, so I don't feel like there's anything I could really learn from the debris. So let's take a look at the truck. The truck. The hitch is completely broken, like it was blown off in an explosion or a really bad accident. Had there been an explosion, all of the fuel on site would have started a fire, but there's no charring, no burning, nothing. I walked through the area where Dennis had been working. From the looks of it, he'd been moving slowly. He'd only taken down 4 trees today. His metal lunchbox is open, an indicator that he had been taking an early break. But he's not here. No one is here. Where the hell is everyone? I could try to make a call on my cell phone, but its battery is already running really low. Not that it matters. The reception is crap out here. It might be good to have it for an emergency, but if there's no reception anyways, let's try to get through to somebody. I pull out my cell and try to make a call to Frank. It rings and then just goes to his voicemail, but before I can leave a message, my phone goes dead. Great. I hope I don't need my phone anytime soon. Oh, oops. Might as well start walking. The highway is almost a mile back through the woods down the gravel road we used to reach the site. Maybe the crew ran that way for help. But why would they have left me? Were they scared? Out of sorts? Maybe I can catch up to them, but with my truck turned over on its side, it looks like I'll be walking. My God, I can't even remember what I was doing before waking up on my back. Wait, what's that underneath the bulldozer? Oh my god, it's a leg. It has to be either Tony or Dennis. The dozer looks unstable, like it might roll some more. Might not be safe to get close, but at the same time, I can't just leave him there. There's not a lot I can do. I'm not gonna go near that. There's no use putting myself at risk. I think could tumble again. It's pretty clear that he didn't survive. Damn. He had 2 kids, too. Both sons. In my shock, I stumbled back, suddenly tripping over a stray log behind me. The hard hat I'm wearing collides with it as I fall, doing its job. Hey. But what's more startling is the realization that Tony is dead. I can't stay here. I have to find Dennis, Frank, and Joe. I have to find out what happened here. As I walk through the stacks of logs from the last week or so of work, everything feels frozen. This high-pitched sound in my ears, it's terrible. It keeps happening every few seconds and sounds like it's coming from far away. I can't help but wonder, is it my ears, or is it something else? The silence out here is creepy, and there's a smell, like the atmosphere after a bad summer storm. I might as well admit it. I'm a little scared. Everyone is missing, and it's dead quiet out here. There doesn't even seem to be a breeze to rustle the leaves and branches. My right knee hurts like hell. My head was hurting so bad before that I never noticed the pain in my knee. I must have heard it during the what? Accident? Or... Wait, is that Dennis? I see him sitting on the ground, motionless, about 30 feet away. Well, I don't want to walk up and startle him. Hopefully I don't attract something else by yelling, though. Let's yell. Dennis! I yell. Dennis, can you hear me? Dennis lets out a shout, like someone waking from a nightmare. He then looks back at me from the ground. Yeah, Roger, I hear you. That was a very weak holler. He hollers back as I head over to him. Dennis, built like a wrestler and has the tough personality in a match, but in this moment, he looks disoriented and even a little anxious. Though I'm glad to see him, the fear on his usually confident face is alarming. What the hell happened? What's going on? He asks. I don't know. Maybe an explosion, but we know the crew's missing. Better to get that information out there. Missing? Dennis says. Where do you think they went? I'm not sure, I say, but it has me pretty freaked out. Something's not right here. Still sitting on the ground, he looks around the woods as if he's just now understanding the severity of the situation. The equipment was overturned. The dozers, too. I say, shifting my hard hat and wiping my forehead. You okay? I ask him. Yeah, just shaken up. Me too. This might be the most intimate conversation Dennis and I have ever had. While he and I have always been on good terms, we've never been particularly close. I've always respected him, though. Sure, he's come to work a few times looking like he'd been in a bar fight the night before, but I've also seen him do an enthusiastic impression of a dinosaur as he played with Tony's kids while they waited for their dad to finish up his shift. It's then that it hits me. Dennis and Tony were good friends. I'm not sure I want to rattle him with news of Tony's death right now. Not before we know what's going on. But he has the right to know. He does. He has the right to know that his friend died. It's important. I wouldn't want it kept from me. So... Okay. You were upfront with Dennis about Tony. Dennis' eyes fixate on me, startled. He was crushed under the dozer, I say. Dennis pauses for a moment, like he's trying to understand what I said. His eyes narrow, and his bottom lip quivers. Shit, he says, and I can tell that he's fighting back tears. He and Tony had been tight, almost like brothers. Hey, he adds quickly as if trying to escape the reality of Tony's death. Did you see that light? No, I say. What did you see? I don't even know, Roger, he says. It was like this flare of white light. It came right up out of the ground like an explosion. So there was an explosion, I say. Maybe it was some equipment, or... This was no equipment, Dennis interrupts, agitated. This huge ball of light came right out of the damn ground. What did it look like? Like looking into the sun, he says. It just feels like someone stabbed me in the eyes with a hot knife. When? I'm not sure, he answers. But I'd finished about 10 trees for the day and was about to top one. That's when it happened. You were almost done with 10 trees? I asked. Yeah, he says, looking at the ground. You know, I wouldn't want to take a lunch break until I was done. And that's when the light blew up. Why? You don't believe me? Better not to call him a liar right now. It doesn't benefit anything. You believe Dennis's story. He saw what he saw, I think to myself. He has no reason to lie about this. My God, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, he says. But if I'm being honest, it scared me pretty bad. And if it's all the same to you, I'd like to get the hell out of here. We both stand up and start heading toward the road. It isn't until we start moving that I see Dennis is wounded. His right side is coated in blood, the red seeping through his blue work shirt. There's splatters of it here and there, but also a very large red splotch that makes me worry. I guess the how he caught it doesn't really matter. Are you doing alright, man? I've been better. I don't know how much longer I can stay on my feet, he says. What happened? I asked. I'm not sure, Dennis replies. I must have gotten thrown or hurt somehow from that light. It's then that I notice the strange ringing noise is still filling the air. Hey, I say, stopping. Do you hear that high-pitched ringing noise every once in a while? Dennis looks scared when I ask him this question, and he just nods. I thought it was just me, he says. He looks out of sorts and uncertain. I've never seen him like this before. It's obvious that he's looking for some reassurance. Even though I'm his boss, there's something very unnerving about this. It's freaking me out. I don't need to lie about that. I'm sure I sound scared, but I don't really care. I looked at Dennis and see that my confusion and fear have seeped into him. And is that disappointment in his expression as well? I think so. It's as if he expects me to be stronger, to assure him that we're fine and nothing is out of the ordinary is happening. We both start moving forward and don't say another word. Did you try to call Frank? Dennis asks. I know he had his cell on him today. I can't, I say, cursing myself. I used my battery trying to call you earlier. It's then that I notice something that makes me stop, a 10-foot wide hole in the ground. There's no stray piles of removed dirt or rocks. It's clean, smoothly dug, cutting into the earth. Wide, but only a few feet deep. It looks unnatural, like the ground was just deleted, no shovels or diggers used. Dennis walks over to it. This looks like the same kind of hole where I saw that light come from the ground. He muses to himself. I say nothing. My mind is spinning, but I don't know what to think. We need to get out of here, Dennis mutters. At that moment, that ringing noise carries through the forest again, sending a shiver down my spine. Dennis is right. There's something strange going on, and we might not be safe here. But that ringing sound could be a clue to where the rest of the crew went. Do we look for the crew or leave? Let's get in there. Find out what that sound is. Something's not right, I say. And if there's a mechanical noise like that, you think someone's out here? He asks. Maybe. I think we should at least check it out. They might be able to help. Yeah, you go right ahead, he says with a grin. I'll be here waiting for you. Better hurry, though. Dennis doesn't look like he's in the best shape to be trouncing around the forest, but we need some answers right away, too. See, that's a problem, because if I leave him, he's injured, and I don't know if he'd be able to survive. Yeah, let's go ahead and leave him. I'm sure he'll be okay. Okay, I'll go alone, I say. You stay here and try to hang on. I'll try to find someone, anyone. I give Dennis a final look, sensing that this could be a big mistake. He's looking at me like he's terrified of me now, making a moan in his throat. I turn away and start moving through the woods quickly. With Dennis all alone, I need to find the crew and get help right away. Every tree out here looks exactly the same. I grew up in the country and I can find my way around the forest without too much of a problem. I'm starting to feel a little disoriented. I'm leaning against a tree when I see something that has no business being here. Our logging crew had been out here for 3 weeks and it seems impossible that we could have missed it. Okay, so I left Dennis behind because I figured he might slow me down, but also I didn't want him walking around too much being injured and all, so hopefully I can find him some help or something. I think I messed up. Oops, sorry Dennis. But it's okay. It's a small building, sort of like a mixture of a shack and a bunker. It looks to be made of concrete, but moss, weeds, and plain old erosion make it look sort of mystical. It looks like something out of a demented version of a medieval fantasy movie. Part of me wants to go back for Dennis, seeing this eerie building in the middle of nowhere makes me yearn for company. I guess I should have put a pause there. It makes me feel like a little kid that is spooked of that old abandoned house at the end of the street. Plus that ringing noise that happens every once in a while, I think is coming from this building. I'm racking my brain trying to remember if I've seen this before, but I haven't. I'm sure of it. It has never been here until now. Is Frank in there? Or Joe? They can't be, but then again, they aren't anywhere out here. Looking inside the building is certainly more appealing than walking through the woods for a mile with an aching knee. I find that I'm a little scared when I take my first few steps towards the building. The first thing I see is a sturdy metal door closed shut. I don't want to let anyone know I'm doing this, so I'm just going to go ahead and open it and go. I set my feet and get ready to push my way in. After holding my breath, I put my hand on the handle and thrust my shoulder into the door. But I immediately realized this wasn't necessary. The door opens easily, even though there's a lock that clicks as it opens. After catching myself, I turned to look at the lock. For some reason, it appears to lock from the outside. Is somebody trying to keep somebody from leaving? Stretching out in front of me is a small interior to match the outside. The building is totally empty. There's a concrete floor and dingy, featureless walls. There are no windows, giving the place an even more isolated feel. Still, I hear the ringing noise coming from somewhere in here. It's louder now, more prominent. The interior seems confining at first, but a small set of concrete steps leads about 5 feet down, revealing a long corridor. Dingy. It's a massive corridor. In fact, like I'm in some kind of building underground. It seems to go on forever. This corridor is quite dark, lit only by emergency lights spaced every 10 feet or so. I assume I'm now underground because this corridor extends far beyond the limits of the building I entered. I realize that someone might not appreciate me finding here. Let's be sneaky. I feel like a ghost, like I truly have no business being here. I move slowly, my feet not making a sound. If anyone is in here, I want to make sure they don't hear me. I tiptoe forward as softly as I can. Just coming into view at the end of the hallway is another set of concrete stairs leading further down into the depths of the earth. I can still hear the ringing noise every so often coming from somewhere in here. I look ahead to the concrete stairs, wondering just how far down they go. I approach the stairs, and as I take my first step down, I get a sense that I'm crossing some sort of line here. There may very well be no going back. You see, if Dennis was with me, I wouldn't be able to be sneaky because he's injured. He wouldn't be able to tiptoe. I wouldn't want him climbing all these stairs either. As I head down the stairs, I notice that they look aged. That damn ringing noise is somewhere below, louder than ever. I feel like I'm walking down into the cellar of a haunted house, the light becoming as scarce as the stairs take a slight turn. I can feel the temperature drop. As I keep walking down the stairs, my mind seems to lock in on the unknown fate of the rest of my crew. Frank is married and I've met his wife a few times, a nice woman with a huge laugh. My heart sags a bit when I realize I might never again get to hear him belting out classic rock tunes during lunch break. Joe. Well, I don't know too much about him. He's 22 years old and is considering community college. His folks are deadbeats, so he has been providing for himself since the age of 16 or so. Out here in the woods, regardless of their backgrounds or ages, I'm responsible for them. Whether frequenting the local bar after a long day or a while away from their families on this risky job, I'm responsible for them. Maybe I can still find them and still get to hear Frank singing in his deep baritone voice after a few too many drinks. I slowly stick my foot out in search of the next step. I can't help feeling like a child as a very powerful fear seizes me. I'm expecting a monster to reach out of the darkness, slicing into my throat. After what feels like forever, we come to the bottom of the stairs. Who's we? Well, anyways, I'm closer to the source of the ringing now. The door sits securely in the hall and looks just out of place down here as I feel. A sliver of light seeps through, illuminating the area. The door has what looks like a panel with lots of labels and lights. Small embossed print above the panel says Level 01 Entrance Gate, Transport Sector. There's a button with no label. I'm not prone to just hitting random buttons, so let's inspect the panel. The panel looks like a diagnostic or alert system of some kind, each label meant to communicate some status. Lockdown engaged, experiment in progress, shutdown engaged. Those all appear to be off, but one of the phrases is a slowly blinking red light next to it. The only powered light in this whole thing. Abnormal entity breach. What the hell? I slowly push the door open and more light pours in as I walk through. As I do, that ringing or beeping or whatever the hell it is gets a little louder. The door closes behind me with a click. At this moment, I can't help but think about Dennis back up on the surface. What's going on up there? Why did that bulldozer turn over? What was it that knocked us out? I hope I haven't left him in a dangerous situation. I'd been so preoccupied with my own fear that I nearly forgot about the ringing noise. It had become just background noise. I take a few more steps and can now see where I am. It makes no sense. Yet another thing that simply seems out of place. The shapes and muted colors of metal are easy to identify, but it just doesn't belong here. Okay, we finished chapter 1. That was interesting. So we wake up in the forest, and everyone's dead and missing, and we find Dennis. He's injured by something. I didn't pry as to how he got injured, but he is up on the surface, hopefully safe, and we are exploring this mystery bunker. Respect the dead. You and 36% of players left Tony's body where you found it. Secrets. You and 76% up front. Trust. You and 55% told Dennis you believed his story. Curiosity. You and 75% went to investigate the ringing sound. Yeah, I bet. Teamwork. You and 36 players decided to leave. Oh, dang. So, for the most part, I did all the same stuff as other people, but yeah, very few people left Dennis behind for that. So that'll be interesting. What do we got? Well, we'll just go ahead and call it good. We'll continue to explore this corridor, bunker, where there's mysterious experiments going on in the future. But until then, I'm Otaku Soup, and I'll see you next time.